page quickly, is also can be utilized to compare two strands of DNA very quickly. Now, this wasn't obvious to a lot of folks. We're very happy with the investment that the Apple Advanced Computation Group made to actually make that happen. People have been looking at that problem for a long time. So the actual situation with, I certainly won't say it is all that is done in bioinformatics by a long shot, but the single most common application is BLAST, and to have a system that both takes advantage of vectorization in the detail and also takes advantage of the ability to run in a massively parallel fashion. Well, I can't say we're massive at this point. Well, we're parallel. So yes, indeed, clusters of these things distribute very well across the racks. So I think that's the root of our observation initially on why you would have the performance. I'm not going to give you any numbers today in terms of some of the tests we've run, but with the help from Dr. Colin Watanabe in my department and some help from our bioinformatics group headed by Dr. William Wood, we've done a reasonable number of tests over a reasonable range of realistic problems. And again, if I were to give you the 3 caveats and the 1 number, I know what would get published, so I won't. But let's just say that this is going to be a question of not a measurable improvement, but a meaningful improvement in terms of our ability to get the work done that we have to do. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Guy. So, we've heard from a few partners, we've heard from a few customers. Hopefully we're going to be hearing from a lot more customers shortly. But before we begin our Q&A, I've got one more little thing that I wanted to talk to you about. So, you've just heard all about Xserve. And what we'd like to also do is give you a little technology preview of something that we're going to be rolling out around the end of this year. And that is a companion product called Xserve RAID. So this is Xserve, and Xserve RAID is an amazing companion storage product that looks like this. And I'd like to invite Alex Grossman from Apple up to give us a preview of Xserve RAID. Alex?
Thanks, Steve. Okay. Well,
let me do the honors.
Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. Well, I'm really excited to have the opportunity to give you a technology preview of our rack-optimized storage. And rack-optimized storage is the perfect complement to the server. And what we've done is we've developed a very high-density 3U height rack-optimized storage device that is 14 drive bays. And with that density, we're able to put 14 120 gigabyte hard drives in the same Apple carriers that we use in the server and deliver 1.68 terabytes of storage. And that's massive. But to get that storage to the server, we had to choose a high-speed interconnect. And we chose what we think is the best, which is 2 gigabit fiber channel. But we went one step further, and we put dual 2 gigabit fiber channel on the system. That gives us 400 megabytes a second of storage throughput. I mean, that's just incredible, and that is the latest and the greatest fiber channel out there. But RAID systems are all about data protection. And to achieve data protection, we put dual RAID controllers in the system, and we put all the critical components as redundant components. In fact, the drives, the power, and the cooling are redundant in the system, and they're hot swappable. And the way we achieved this was through a brand new Apple design architecture. And let me take you through that really quickly. The architecture has 14 independent hard drives, and each RAID controller connects to 7 of these hard drives. The hard drives have independent ATA controllers that go to the heart of the system. And the heart of the system is the RAID processor. The RAID processor is very fast, and it's powerful. And we've added 128 megabytes of processor cache to it for even better performance. Up on the top of the diagram, there's a little blue icon, probably not too familiar to all of you, but that's the icon for 2 gigabit fiber channel. So our 2 gigabit fiber channel controller actually has its own dedicated PCI bus to the RAID processor. And that gives us substantial throughput. I mean, really, really high throughput. This thing was designed for max throughput. Off to the side of that, you'll see what we call the RAID Environment Manager. And that's a tool, it's actually an embedded coprocessor that gives us the ability to manage these RAID systems remotely. So we can set them up, we can manage them, and we can monitor them. Very similar to what we do with Xserve. If we put the whole thing together and look at the entire diagram, you'll see that on each side we have redundant power. So we have redundant load-sharing power supplies, and in the center we have redundant cooling. And just like Xserve, the cooling is smart. So if one of the cooling systems fails, the other one will take up the speed. You'll also notice the little green bars on top. Those are redundant drive cache. So actually, we cache the processor memory. And overall, this makes a very fault-tolerant system with very high throughput. Xserve RAID is going to be available, as Steve said, by the end of calendar year 2002. So let me just sum it up for you real quickly. 14 drive bays, very high density 3U enclosure, 1.68 terabytes of massive storage online, and 2 gigabit fiber channel. That's Xserve RAID. And this is only a technology preview. We're going to announce this later in the year. Thanks, Steve.
Great. So, overview, we had software remote management, sales, service, and support, partners and customers, the bonus technology preview of Xserve RAID, which brings us to the Q&A. So I'd like to invite Phil and Tim back up on stage. I'd also like to invite John Rubenstein, who runs our hardware team, who has developed these products. And Avi Tavanian is in the audience as well. If we have any software questions, Avi's led the team on Mac OS X Server. So why don't we grab some stools and come on up here, and we'll try to answer any questions you have. Thanks.